is WCRFM.
One of the top British rock and roll stars of the 50s and 60s, and his version of Dream Lover. I rather like that. I think that's a pretty great version. I'm a big fan of Marty Wilde. A bit of a nice show the second half though, really, because hoping round about 10 past 8 to be speaking to my very good mate Stuart Monk, who builds guitars. Well, he's got a factory now, but he used to hand-build guitars, still hand-built guitars, and they're pretty fantastic instruments. But there's quite a story to be told, that is his personal story, and I'll link a bit with it myself, so makes that particularly interesting, really. Well, it does for me, at least. In the meantime, we'll have another classic track from Neil Diamond and Sweet Caroline. But this one's a bit Christmassy, and it's certainly a bit Australian as well. Australian, you know, if I put it that way. So get us in the mood for speaking, hopefully, to Stuart Monk very, very shortly from the other side of the world in Australia. The Seekers, Morningtown Ride. I love this.
Train whistle blowing makes a sleepy noise. Underneath their blankets go all the girls and boys.
I love that. It's a sort of a Christmassy song, isn't it? It's a sort of a Christmassy song. I absolutely love that. I really do. I think it's absolutely beautiful. What a fantastic voice as well, Judith Durham. What a beautiful, crystal clear singer. Top C, no problem at all, but every note pitch perfect. No auto-tune needed for the bands in them days, eh? Hopefully very shortly we're going to be speaking to Stuart Monk. He might be my favourite guitarist, really, because he made guitars which was quite sort of linking into a problem that I had with my hand a few years. I snapped the tendon in my hand and I thought I'd never play again. Favourite guitar players? Oh, I suppose Jimi Hendrix would be one of them, wouldn't he? Do you like this one? Hey Joe. The fantastic Jimi Hendrix. Everybody's got a story to tell about Jimi Hendrix as well, ain't they, really? I think one of the stories that I always think about was with my good friend Roger Allen, the late Roger Allen, who managed nearly all the 60s pop bands in this area. You've heard me say this story before, but, you know, when you're talking about favourite guitar players, he actually did My Way once down at the one of the clubs. You probably heard me saying this last week to the guests who were on the show last week, but Roger Allen singing My Way at one of the clubs, and Jimi Hendrix was there with Charlie Chandler, the Animals bass guitar and guitar player who brought Jimmy over here and was taking him round, introducing him to agents and whatnot. And Jimmy got up and played on guitar for Roger Allen, playing My Way. What about that? You never ever beat that, would you, really? That ain't one that I think that you could ever really top. I don't think you could, really. Although I'm waiting for the call at the moment from Stuart Monk and from Fican Guitars in Australia. But it's never easy with these sort of things, so we're on standby and waiting to take that call if we can get it through. It's always difficult setting things up from the other side of the world. The world is a smaller place, but it's still difficult. Anyway, Burt Whedon. This is Burt Whedon, if you remember him, and the people are already phoning in and saying that they do. Don't phone at the moment now, because I'm waiting for a call from Stuart Monk in Australia. Don't call. Do not call at the moment. Anyway, this is Burt Whedon playing Ghost Riders in the Sky. Absolutely fantastic. sliding on my vinyl tracks. Absolutely. A bit easy and a bit crackly, but what a fantastic guy he was. And he was. Dusty Springfield, I'd only want to be with you. Ooh, what a pretty girl she was as well. The fantastic Dusty Springfield we got to know quite well, and it was such a lovely lady, and of course it was a proper pop star. Question it a bit. Way back in the day, little Cockney chap was a massive success in the 60s, went by the name of Adam Faith. Later had a brilliant TV programme playing the part of Budgie even. You guessed who I'm talking about. You remember him. He was brilliant. He got a very distinctive voice, had Adam. Do you remember this? Adam Faith, Poor Little Me, or something of that nature.
Oh me, oh me,
Oh, Adam Faith, absolutely fantastic. I tell you what, we're sort of holding. I know one or two of you have been trying to call me, but I'm sort of blocking calls at the moment because we're still waiting for a call through from Stuart Monk of Fican Guitars in Australia, and we've had a message off him to say that he's having a few problems with the server or all those technical things in getting through. Be a shame if he can't, because we really would love to speak to him, but if he doesn't get through, I'll tell you his story. And now it's a story that's interesting to me, and we'll give a little chat about that fantastic guitars that they make as well, because it's well worth knowing about. But we're going to sort of keep the lines open for Stuart to call in if he possibly can. But there is a few technical problems at the moment, as we say in the broadcasting industry. Made with special wood. He makes them with Honduran mahogany, tulip wood, Fijian mahogany, and you can even supply him with your own piece of timber if you like, and this guy will make you a guitar. And as I say, some of the top guitarists have done just that, and I'm saving my pennies. One of these days I'll probably order him one off him. But if you're listening, Stuart Monk of Fican Guitars, you're a good, great guy, and we've got a lot of time for you. And we're going to give you a big shout, Fican Guitars, tonight. And we're going to get you back in the new year one way or another. I tell you what, back to a bit of real classic rock talk. With a saw. I think he was doing something, working on a boat or something, and he had an accident where basically he put an handle grinder through a finger. Gosh almighty, that's terrible, isn't it? But what did he do? Well, he didn't give up, this guy, Stuart Monk. Great guy, really good guitar player, all-round good guy. And he went and designed a guitar that he could play with a bigger neck. And round about that time, I was looking round for people, similar instances, ideas that you might come up with, that you could sort of do things that, that I could play again. So I was very impressed. Well, lots of years on later, quite recently, another good friend of mine, a guitar player, Steve Wernick, was talking about this guy, and I said, oh yeah, I know him, Stuart Monk, I remember him. And Steve Wernick, it's a well-known family in Wolverhampton, the Wernicks. A lot of you guys will remember them.
There you go, Touch. Nice to have you here at Fican Guitars, man. Welcome. Absolute pleasure and an honour. I've been watching your stuff, and very cool, man. So we talked a little bit before about your single coil, your humbucker. I'm watching you play a lot of guitars that have also got that sort of type thing. So you've come here today, and we're going to design a guitar that actually suits you. So we want to hear the sounds, we want the feel of the neck, and then we can start working your body shape around that, where it balances, fits you, and all that type of thing, So we might give you maybe that red guitar, and you can actually have a bit of a play on that, and we'll see how you go. And we'll just talk about the sounds and different things later and stuff. No worries, man. My pleasure, little man. Okay? Right, come on. Let's go then.
Bookmakers and business people, and I'm the Oasis nightclub in town. Very good family friends of ours, but me and Steve are very good pals. Steve lives in Australia today, but he plays a guitar. But cut a long story short, Stuart Monk decided to build his own guitar, but build it so well that he ended up owning a company and building guitars for some of the best guitar players in the world. And today in Australia, they have a factory turning them out. One of the latest guitars that particularly caught my eye was played by Steve Wernick. Now, a bit special, this guitar, because, you know, you could play it and it would sound like a really good solid. And you could press a button and it would sound like an acoustic guitar. I know it's hard to paint the pictures on radio, but I'm doing my best. And that's what that guitar did. Now, there's other guitars in the past, semi-acoustics, Gibson, like the Gibson top guitars that Chuck Berry played. You could sort of get away with it, but never really get that sound. But he did. He built a guitar, Steve Monk, that you could play it like a really good solid, press a button, and it sounded like an acoustic. I'm very impressed with that. And I'm just going to say, if you want to go on the internet and look up Fican guitars, you might want to read Stuart's story, but they make some fantastic guitars. Guys, we've just managed to get Stuart. We've got Stuart. Stuart, how are you, man?
Hey, man. How you going?
It's great to have you on the show.
No, I haven't been able to listen. I've been on the phone trying to trying to work this problem out. Anyway, we sorted it out. What you just told me was more than what my provider can tell me. So,
it's the way. Well, it's my dear wife who's working between us on that, mate, sending the messages back and forth. So you thank Kat for that one. Stuart, it's great to have you on the show anyway. And you know, I first picked up on your work many years ago when you had an accident with a finger, didn't you? You a rather nasty one, and I snapped a tendon in my finger as well. So I was aware of your work. And you're building your own guitar many years ago. Yes.
Well, it first happened, and I was quite some time to heal, and never healed. And then I ended up needing an operation, and then I couldn't bend my finger for a long time.
Yeah.
And I was a performing musician, so it was a bit of a worry. Anyway,
absolutely.
I realised that this finger wouldn't bend where I needed it to go, so I thought maybe a guitar would actually, a different guitar would, and I couldn't find one that would actually suit me. So the first thing I did was bought some wood and then realised how hard it is to make a guitar. And
Gosh.
Then after a few goes and getting it right and being quite a little bit of an out there shape that I did at first.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me if I could make them one, and then somebody else asked me, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know. So the reason to start was to actually make a thicker neck. So, as I said, then I got to the stage where next thing you know, we've got a factory, and here we are hand crushing.
Well, I was well aware of your work for exactly the same reason. Snapped a tendon in my finger, and originally they were going to take the finger off you now. And my daughter was a nurse. She was a nurse, and she just happened to be working for a guy, a surgeon and a specialist who was an hand specialist. And he said, "Well, let me have another look. Let's have a look at it. I ain't going to promise you nothing, but let me have a look at it." And he saved my finger, but my finger's bent. I ended up playing slide and a lot of open G and all that sort of stuff. I learned another way of playing, But I was
exactly.
But obviously because of what happened to you, it was always of interest to me. Now, we have a mutual friend, Stevie Wernick, who plays one of your guitars. And
yes. I believe he's been over there
with his Love Is a Gamble CD.
Yeah, he's been on tour and he's been over tour in the UK. I've known Steve's family a good many years. His family and my family are quite good friends, you know.
Yeah, great.
He's a good lad. He's absolutely cracking lad. But he got this guitar over that you bought, and I was really impressed because it was a guitar you could play, and it sounded. I didn't have much time to have a go with it, but it sounded like a solid. And you pressed a button, and it sounded like an acoustic. What a fantastic instrument for any singer, you know, to have on stage. You're just backing yourself, you know.
Yeah, so the idea came from I used to run a lot of band nights and then, you know, watching people swap guitars constantly back and forwards, and I thought there must be a way we can do this. And you know, guitars have been the same for 100 years. You know?
Yes.
So I looked into this, and next thing you know, we tried different things and come up with where now, well, it has evolved over time, but you know, first we can use one amp or we can use two amps. We can turn one button on, which actually has, one volume control, which actually has the acoustic. We pull that out, and we've got a second tone of acoustic, just like when you go into a guitar shop.
It's great.
You have a lighter sounding guitar, and then a darker sounding guitar. So you've got both of those options. You can turn that knob off, and then turn your electric guitar straight on, and so you can, you know, do a beautiful ballad, whatever, on an acoustic. Turn that off, and then turn your electric on and shred. The other thing you can do is we can use two amps, so it actually uses, if you want to use stereo amps with two leads, you can do that. If you just use the one, you still get the blend option. So
yeah,
the switching jack in there where we can actually have a blend option. So not only can you have just these things, you can actually have acoustic mixed with electric. Now that gives a myriad of variations.
I'm impressed, mate. I'm impressed. You're a brilliant man. You really are. And it's the Tornado, isn't it? That guitar. It's called the Tornado.
So that's my flagship model. We've actually got two shapes of that. There's one that's the original one that if that shape is all the tuning pegs actually don't suit those, you know, some people, traditionalists, etc. We now have another one in our range that's actually a little bit more back towards traditional. I'm not going to copy what everybody else has done, and it's a beautiful looking guitar.
It is.
And what that does is, you know, that
really sort of was gonna have a chat to one of the guys from Manfred Manor. We can't do it tonight, but I wanted to get my mate Stuart Monkin from Fican Guitars, because what a wonderful man he is, and you know, he had a terrible accident, overcome it, built one of the best factories in the world for guitars, providing guitars for some of the best players in the world, and I really wanted to get that interview in, but we're going to speak to one of the guys from Manfred Mann in the very near future. Well, that's the show for this week. I hope you've enjoyed this. We had some great guests and we played you some great music. I'm sorry I couldn't take all your calls. Loads of calls tonight, and I've had to cut a lot of people short because I was trying to make a link up to the other side of the world, and we got through to Stuart Monk in the end. Stay tuned for me good mate Paul Newman. He's a fantastic presenter with a fantastic show. Then after his show, stay tuned for Mike Hardaker telling you all about jazz. He knows it all. Be a great show into the early hours. And then whatever you like, as long as you stay tuned to 101.8 WCR FM. This is Philip Solomon wishing you a happy Christmas. Join me next same place next week. And in the meantime, be good. If you can't be good, for goodness gracious sake, be careful, won't you?
Sydney, I've got a workshop and factory there, and everything's handmade there. There's no CNC machines or anything like that. It's wonderful to rub the wood and sweat drops off you and drips in that guitar. And, you know, they always feel like they're my babies and they're hard to let go, but it's great to have them around the world also with great players. The name Fican comes from Fijian mahogany and Canadian maple, so I put the fee and the can together and it gives you Fican guitars, which is pretty cool because in the advertising, when you look up guitars, there's Fender, alphabetically order, Fican, Gibson, so I thought that was pretty cool as well, which was just an accident by accident. Does everybody understand me? Okay, a little? Yeah, sorry, I don't speak French, I wish I was supposed to have an interpreter also. Anyway, so basically, it came about when I damaged a finger and I wanted to get a guitar because I've lost the movement in my finger to bend all the way back. So I changed my playing completely. And I'm a performer in Sydney where I actually I'm a singer-songwriter and play good pubs and all that sort of stuff. So I had to get back into it and I made a guitar with a thicker neck. Now, that wasn't that easy to do. I bought the wood and then realised it was a lot harder than you could ever imagine. So after a couple of scrapping a few and restarting again, it became something that, wow, one works. And I did it a little bit different to everybody else's guitars, where it had a treble clef on the headstock. You may see that on my website. It's called the Australian Treble Clef. And next thing you know, somebody liked it, and that was my story, how it unfolded now to many different models where we do custom work. So you may have seen at my stand. Has all of you been down past the stand? Down there at Fican, have you been down inside? Anyway, there is, you see most of my models, but I also do custom ones like the Bugs Bunny, and there's all sorts of things I make there. So, anyway, so to start off with, I'll tell you about my flagship model, which is the second model that I started to make. This is a Fican Tornado. So this guitar here represents, back in Australia, I manage a lot of band nights and all sorts of different things, and everybody's always swapping guitars from electric to acoustic. So I thought, well, we've been talking about the same type of guitars for 100 years, let's make something that looks different. Not only does it look different, let's do something where we don't have to swap guitars on stage. So, to explain how my guitar works, if you look at that sort of shape, basically that's your acoustic shape. That's just a blank in the middle for, just looks, and then you've got the electric shape down the bottom. Now, I have two jacks, as you can see here. Now, this jack here is acoustic. So it has a piezo, and it has two tones of acoustic, a light and a dark. Turn that off, turn this on, full electric guitar, where we go from here. So then we can blend. We can put acoustic and electric. So it actually gives you a myriad of sounds. You can also have an acoustic amp and an electric amp in stereo. This also has a switching jack where if you pull this out, you still have the blending values where you can do acoustic and electric. And I'm really glad you're here. This is Mark Longchan, everybody, please welcome to the stage. Yes, so as far as it comes down to, we've got something very unique. We've got something where you only need one guitar on stage. If you want to play slide, we can actually lift that bridge. It's all adjustable. It fits you beautifully. Not like an acoustic guitar where you have the big body out here. It doesn't slip backwards or forwards. They're not very heavy. A lot of girls seem to like them also because of the size, etc. But lots of guys like them also. So we do any paint job you want. We can put your name up here in the beautiful inscribing etching type thing. And it's a really cool thing. But I've got lots of different models of coil tap, all sorts of different things, basses, 2 octave. We can send them anywhere, and we pay for the shipping. And one day I hope to be a worldwide recognised brand with Fican guitars. So anyway, so thanks for listening to me about that. I think we're going to show you what they do. Is that right? With Mark?
good?
Thank you very much.
Hey, pleasure, mate. Thank you. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Play this all day.
Special. Oh, nice. Can you see Fican guitars in the back?
Hold it high.
Yeah. Could you tell me what you think about this guitar? Yes, could you talk to me what you think about this guitar?
Of course.
If you like it.
Yeah, of course. So this is a Fican guitar, and he's the guy's from Australia, and from what I've been told earlier, it's made out of a wood from Tasmania, I believe, a really old wood, very very old wood, and it's amazing. It's what I like about this guitar is it's nice. It's a real nice weight. It's good and heavy, and when you play it, it's just got a great feel. You get what I like about guitars. This is all a personal preference. Is the resistance you get when you play. When I like to feel like I'm playing the thing, I like to feel like I'm getting something back from it. And to be honest, the sound, it sounds like unplugged without it being through an amplifier. It's always a good way of finding out if a guitar's going to be nice. It sounds absolutely phenomenal, and it plays real nice and it feels real good. And I like the history associated with it, the fact it's made of an old piece of wood. Yeah, this is definitely my favourite guitar I've played so far today. It's going to be difficult to walk away from.
Did Ian happen to tell you what it actually does?
With the
With the acoustic?
yes, he did. Yeah, you got the piezo under there.
So turn it on for this one, and you've actually got 2 tones of acoustic.
Yeah,
Light and the dark.
So is that a preset sort of EQ you've built in there?
Yep.
Okay.
So turn that off. So if you want to, so with both off, we have only one in there. If you just want one amp, turn it on. A beautiful acoustic sound.
Yeah.
Take it out, another light or a dark
Oh,
one.
okay. So that just purely controls the acoustic side of it.
Basically, it's a volume one.
Okay.
So turn that off. Turn that on. Full electric guitar.
Yeah.
Front humbucker, back one, middle, or we can start putting acoustic and blending. Blending, acoustic and electric, there's a million things you can do there, man.
I bet.
Then, next thing you know, back it off. So if this is backed off, the humbuckers don't work.
Yeah.
But you can have that to an acoustic PA. You can have that to the electric.
Yeah.
But switching jack, if you pull it out, you've only got 1 amp. You actually still have the blending values there.
So is that like a master input kind of thing?
Yeah, that's it, and that's your switching jack. So stereo amps,
Yeah.
or just one, but
Just
still
one, but you
has the
still
blend
get the,
option. Still have the blend.
It's mad.
They sound awesome, man. Actually, we just had Mark Longjam.
Yeah, one on that
Longjam.
name.
He's been playing here all weekend.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. This is him on stage. This is him and me playing.
Is he playing that orange one? Something like
He's
that?
playing the orange
Yeah.
one, and I'm playing this one.
Yeah.
You're playing. So
Who's that? Is that you?
I'm an acoustic and he's an electric. We're just doing Hotel California.
really nice acoustic sound, isn't it? What are you going just direct into PA there?
Just straight into that amp there.
Oh, is it an acoustic amp or something?
No, it's not an acoustic. It's
isn't
electric.
it?
So you still get the PCA. The PCA still makes it great, even if it's electric.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't matter what you put it in, it comes out. But it's obviously the true sound. That's why we have two of them. So people can have this and that. So when you're on stage, do your ballad, and then go off and shred the next one by everything else. So that's So anyway, so that's everything that it does. So
that's pretty impressive, man. And what were you saying something about this being like 3,000 years old?
3,000 years old. So in Australia, this comes from Tasmania. The convicts cut it all down.
Yeah.
Now they're they 1 centimetre every 3 years is King Billy. It takes 3,000 years to grow a tree. But the settlers come in and they chopped it all down, floated them down the river. When they floated them down the river, a lot of them sunk.
Okay.
So they build what they build, but later on we found this. We found in Australia that it was under the water.
What, at the end?
So it's been there for 200 years
out
under water.
Under a river?
Floated them, and next thing you know, we'll stop this. We floated them, and next thing you know, there's three merchants in the world that were actually allowed to bring them up. So they had a float with a tag number on them, and when they were ready to bring it up and harvest this wood, they brought it up, cut it, and then they sold it. But this wood was very, very, very old. It's been sitting in a shed of exotic, $4 million of exotic woods up in the north coast of Australia. And the guy turned eccentric and never answered the door or on the phone to anybody, and he wouldn't sell his woods. Anyway, I happened to know somebody who got me in there, and he sold me some wood, but it was the only piece of King Billy, and I've tried to get some since.
Oh, really? And he's
so
still got some, but he won't...
No, it's all gone.
Oh, it's all gone?
It is all gone.
I've got it all.
Yeah, it's all up in
So
Scotland.
I got this big chunk, and I got 5 guitars out of it, and Ian rang me and said, I want one. Because I told him the history.
Did you take all 5?
Eventually, yeah.
Those are the 5 you were talking about.
I'm greedy. I'm very greedy.
Yeah. So I didn't even get to get one of these beautiful things myself.
Oh man!
But I make them out of wood. This is Australian wood. This is silky oak.
Okay.
That's Brazilian mahogany with your camphor laurel in the middle, which is that's
really
Australian
nicely
wood.
made, that one.
Yeah. And then you've got, they're all different. I use all different sorts of tonal woods.
Yeah.
White cedars and tulip woods from the ice countries in America and. There's lots of different things we use. Fijian mahogany. I've still got some Honduras, which is another rare one in the world, and I've also in the Brazilian mahogany. I've got 4 more pieces. And the Honduras.
Hey, no, my pleasure, man. See you soon, yeah? Nice.
Good show tonight.
Hey, thank you, man.
Yes, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Where does all that go? Where does all that go? Where are you putting that?
It's for me. It's for my school project.
Yeah. Great.
To practice. Okay.
Lovely to meet you, man. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So as far as it goes, nothing they can't do. You want to do slide on them? It's all adjustable. You can lift it up, but you do slide on it. What are you playing currently?
Well, with 10 years after, I'm playing a 74 SG. It's a walnut one. It's really nice, actually. I've changed out the pickups for some 61 double whites in there, which is real nice. And then between that and a Telecast, like Telecast only 10 years old. And then I've got a 61 harmony guitar, which is quite nice as well. And then I've got a couple of nice acoustics.
I'm repairing an old harmony for someone at home. An old acoustic. It's quite small.
Yeah.
I'm actually doing a little harmony for him, and he gave it to someone with you, and they ruined it. So he's given it to me, and
they're quite delicate, them guitars. Even when I got it, because I knew it needed some work, because it didn't cost me much. I was like, okay. And I was saying to Ian, I got a friend of mine called Joe Dobson in Essex Road kind of way in London. He's a luthier as well, and he's just fantastic. He's probably as into wood as you are. You're the second person in my life I've met who likes woods that much. You know what I mean? And he sort of done it up for me. He's done a real nice job, and it plays so nice now. But he was when he first looked at it, he was like, it's gonna be easily fucked up. They're not built amazing, are they?
No,
they're built quite flimsy.
Yeah. In fact, it's just hanging in there, this one too.
Yeah, but it sounds like the gold foil. My man's electric, got gold foils.
No trust roll.
No, they got what they call it. They built their own thing.
And then the action is quite high.
Yeah.
But you can't really change it, you know. Like the way it is on going, mate, that's, you know.
Not an acoustic. I mean, what are you doing up there anyway?
Yeah, that's right.
Unless you're playing slide, man. Stay down the bottom, man.
Yeah, a couple of chords will do.
Don't want when you can get up top, buy a new one.
Yeah, you're ready to go.
Where do you live in Scotland then, Ian? Because I want to come round and play this one.
Yes, indeed. I'm in the northeast Scotland, in a place called Montrose.
Oh, I know Montrose, yeah.
Got a great music festival I think it's the last weekend in May.
Okay.
And Deacon Blues playing it this year. Beach Boys are playing it this year. Brian Adams headlined last year. Yeah, it's
I might have done this festival in the past. Has it been going for quite a while?
10 years.
I think I did it.
Did you? Yeah?
Yeah, it rings a bell. I must have played it with someone. I mean, I spent a lot of time up in Scotland.
Yeah.
I like you people.
My
best pals from Linlithgow.
Mate, they're alright.
Well, let's go. Yeah.
Honestly, he's a good guy.
Further north you get, the more interesting they become, though. They go all loopy, man.
A lot of good people in Scotland.
I've been talking for a year and a half, sending the guitar, still never met him. We met yesterday.
Oh, no way.
He's awesome.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
I'm going to Sydney next year. Got to.
Yeah. It's a nice place. Is that where you're based out of?
So these are the things. So see that inset I've got on that bass?
On this one here?
Yeah, right. This is a whole solid piece of it. So same guitar as that. This is all just...
What did you say that was called again?
So that's just an inset of small wood, but these are actually solid pieces. So this is the back of this one. So that's the front. That's the back of it with the plate in there, as you can see.
Yeah.
So
one of my favourite things about yours is the plates, man. They're really cool.
So
Tasmanian Devil were.
This is something that is, can you feel this wood here? You know, it's just going to be.
Is that the same thing?
No, this is silk. This is silk. So this has a lot of green in it, you know? Like reds and
it looks beautiful. And you're going to do like what you've done here, just unfinish it, just leave it
we'll wax it.
Wax it.
It'll be run back down to 1,000 grit.
But you'll still be able to see all this lovely... Yeah.
So what I was trying to explain to you about the ability before, 1 year grows 3 centimetres. Sorry, 3 years, 1 centimetre. So because it takes 3,000 years to grow, it's the tighter grain. So the slower the growth, the tighter grain.
So we're talking, we won't see any more King Billy for another, couple of thousand?
You're right. I'm trying all over the place just to see if there's another dude. There's some there. And Honduras, I've got about 4 more pieces, which is beautiful stuff. And Brazilian hog is the same stuff, just not as featured as much.
No, it still looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Yeah. So,
but I like what you've done with this.
Yeah. That's all just hand cutting, man. I can show you a video of me actually just cutting. Because I showed you the latest thing I did with the machine.
No, it looks hand done. Look at it, man, because it looks all natural.
Yeah.
Because from afar, it doesn't even look like you've inset it. It just looks like that might be how it came.
Yeah.
With my rubbish eyes, man, it just looks... can't see any of it.
You've got these. So what are you doing tonight? What's happening tonight?
We're playing upstairs. Yeah. We've been playing with 10 years after for the last 3 years. So they do a concert. I don't know much about it.
Like is there different bands on the side?
I think there was someone playing last night, perhaps. We're doing tonight, and there's a duo open for us.
Right. Okay.
So we're just here today, and we're off on the coast tomorrow. Yeah, it's an old band from the 60s. They're in Woodstock. It's basically Alvin Lee. He was the original sort of founder member of that with Rick and Chip, who were still in the band, and then it's myself and Colin Hodgkinson, who's I don't even know how to describe Colin, man. He's just a bass playing legend from that era as well.
The guy who heard Noiseworks coming out of Australia? Noiseworks? It's not called Stuart Fraser. Okay. The touch on his fingers. Why can't we do that? Man, he's got the touch.
What are they called?
Noise Works, it's an old band, but now it's named Stuart Fraser, and he actually supports me in my shows and plays for me, so when we're in Melbourne, everybody just comes to see, you know. Have you heard of Skybox? Where all my friends that's Skybox. They were huge in the 70s, and Bongo Star, who's the guitarist over there, it's his band now, the other Shirl died and stuff like that, but in a helicopter accident. But he supports me at my shows, he brings Stuart with him, and they sit there and play and make other tracks. That's brilliant. You've got to listen to this guy, he's a guy, Stuart Fraser. So he plays on all the TV shows, The Dancing with the Stars, and he's the one who does all the things. He's busy doing John Farnham and living in John Stuff.
Happy day.